welcome to the Cooldown Lap Podcast. I
Welcome
said,
back to our first episode.
well, I'm so used to my old podcast, and I realized by everyone, there's like 10 people following us so far, so we're very new. But welcome to episode one of the Cooldown Lap Podcast. I'm your host, Jogpaul, and we have
Garrett,
perfect.
welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the show where we're going to be having a lot of fun conversations about about F1. And um, Garrett, why did we start this?
Why did we start this? Well, on a serious and unserious note, we both got the F1 bug real bad. We talk about it nonstop. We send each other memes and reels back and forth, and we talk our partners' ears off. And they both pretty well said, "Hey, if you guys want to talk about this so much, why don't you go talk together, go hang out?" So we did. And over some sushi, we thought, "Hey, this is a lot of fun talking about in my house or your house, but we should talk about this more formally. We should do something fun with it." And from there, as any good friends say, let's start a podcast. And so here we are, starting a
Here we
podcast, putting
are.
our money where our mouth is, and where this goes.
So first off, we would like to say you're welcome, Simran and Sid.
Oh
We
yeah.
will no longer bug you about F1. I can't tell you how annoyed Simran gets when I just talk about, oh my God, Fernando, this, Alonso, that, for this, that. And she's like, dude, like, get a life. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Garrett, you want to go get a life together? And here we
Let's go
are.
get a life together.
Here we are. Garrett, what got you into F1? Like, you've been in it a little bit longer than I have, and I've always obviously seen you post things every now and then, and that's how I kind of started talking to you about it. But what got you into it?
So while I was going through medical school, we got to the end, and there were these two really big, daunting exams that we had to prepare for, and I had about 4 weeks to do it. And as every good medical student does, you study while watching something on Netflix to pass the time and have a little bit of company. And I turned on good old Drive to Survive, and that kind of got me hooked. That was the virus, the catalyst, if you will, to me getting into F1. I binge watched the whole thing, and when I finished that, I said, "Huh, that was a lot of fun. I should go watch real racing though, because this probably dramatized quite a bit." And over the next 3 weeks, while I studied for my licensing and board exams, I probably watched 2.5 real seasons of F1, pretty well nonstop, every waking hour while I was studying. And then I watched probably one of the most exciting seasons of F1 to date, 2021. And that was it. I was hooked. And as you can
Hence
tell,
the
I drank the correct Kool-Aid, cheering for Red Bull, not Aston Martin, because
whoa,
I wanted to be a winner, and that was the team I chose.
that is fair. They've been doing good since, but Max Verstappen is definitely the GOAT, and he's the reason why Red Bull is Red Bull.
I chose my champion wisely, and that's why I'm here. But tell me about yourself. I know you got the bug a little bit later, but the passion's been fiery for you. I think you know almost as much, if not more, about F1 than I do after watching it for a year, and I've been watching it almost for five now. So you've gone quick into it.
I go like all in to things, and like F1 is like definitely been one of them. Like in the past it's been like say bodybuilding, like I'm a bodybuilder, like a fitness coach, worked in gyms, studios, and when I go in I'm like, okay, let's do this. And now it's F1. And how I got into it is funny. So Simran, my fiance, has been watching this for like so long, and she's always like, oh, she's also part of the Drive to Survive wave. So she's like, hey, like F1 is really cool. It's super interesting. You would love it. You would love it. And she was telling me for like years, you know. She's like, dude, you know about cars. You love cars. I am a car enthusiast. I have a motorcycle. I have a summer car. Like I work on my cars. Like I've always been a car guy, but I'm just like, oh, like dude, driving around in circle, like cars, like that's boring. Like, you know, like I'd rather like drive my cars and like have fun with it, you know, enjoy riding motorcycles, going fast myself.
You thought F1 was NASCAR. Drive
Dude,
fast, turn left.
I didn't know, like, you know, like I'm like these cars look cool, but like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and I've never been a big sports guy. Like I've always played sports. I've always like played like cricket, rugby, whatever, like even bodybuilding. Like I didn't really watch a lot of bodybuilding, but I would like be really good at it or whatever I did. So like I'm just like, that's another sport, like not too big into it. But then here comes this beautiful man named Brad Pitt on the big screen
Yeah.
watching F1, which I just like, I'm like, and like as I was watching the F1 movie, like Simran's like nudging me. She's like, "Oh, like, that's Toto Wolff, or that's Fred Vasseur, that's whoever, you know what I mean?" And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck these people are. Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. And then towards the end of the movie, like I was like, Simran, is it actually like this? Like, it's not circles. Like, there's a midfield. Like, I didn't even think it was that technical. That there's midfield. There's like there's strategies. There's like, what's going on? Like, this is like more complex than I thought. And she's like, yeah, it's kind of like this, And I'm like, all right, I want to get into this. So I start watching Drive to Survive from there. Binge watched it. And coming up to actually July, the midsummer break, I'm like, okay, I want to watch it. Didn't know what to like, where to watch it, so I subscribed to F1 TV. And I'm like, okay, I'm paying $130. I'm committed. I gotta watch the races. I don't care if I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna figure it out. And that's exactly what happened. And funny enough, I I subscribed to F1 TV on my Mexico trip in Cancun while I was on my celebratory trip for proposing to my fiance. And that's where I watched my first race was in
Priorities.
Mexico. Yeah,
Priorities.
yeah, while we're on our
Honeymoon, why would I pay attention to my partner? I should watch F1. That's why we're here.
and that's probably why Simran's kind of salty about it. So
Yeah. The obsession runs deep. And so does our friendship. Why don't you give people a little bit of a glimpse into how long we've known each other, and how that's looked over time, and why that makes us the perfect pair to bullshit about F1 and to follow these seasons a little bit more publicly.
man, like I don't even know where to start with that. Like we're like high school buddies. Like to be honest with you, like from the outdoors club, like me and you and high school, like camping together, just like
The
me too.
POW Club, the Pursuit of Outdoor Wickedness, I think it
Yeah,
was called.
the POW club. I remember telling Garrett in the middle of the night, bro, I'm scared of bears in the middle of the middle of nowhere. He's like, yeah, they're scary, man. To like going to you for like like all my like even physical issues like bodybuilding, like you fixing me up, man, like you've always been like the go-to guy, and like now I'm excited to like talk F1 with you. Like it's been like what, 15 years of friendship, and like just knowing each other for like what, half of our lives, and here we are, man. Like,
Here we are.
yeah, we look like kids when we started, now we look like grown-ass old men.
Exactly. And we're even older at heart. So here we
Yeah,
go.
for
That's why
sure.
we're talking about cars.
For
So this podcast, what do we really want it to look like? We want this to be a mix of fun and serious. We want this podcast to be, an opportunity for people like us who, got the F1 bug, who are figuring it out as they go, to have a place to talk about it and to kind of track some of the stuff that's happening. Part of that will be technical. To the best of our knowledge, we certainly aren't aerospace engineers. I'm not sitting here next to Adrian Newey, albeit he's wearing the right kit for it. But we're here just to chat about it and to recap week by week what we think is happening, to have fun with the season. But part of that starts with setting the stage, and so that's what we're really hoping to do today. Introduce you guys a little bit more to who we are, what we're hoping to do with this podcast, and then jump into some of the really exciting things to come. The season of 2026.
2026 is a big season. Yeah, you absolutely nailed it. I think there's a lot of podcasts. Like I watch a lot of podcasts, like the P1 podcast, the Pit Stop, whatnot. All of them are based out of Europe. There's a lot of, European podcasts, and I feel like there's been this big wave coming into North America. With all the races that they're bringing in, the F1 movie Hollywood coming into the play now. And there's like a second wave after Drive to Survive. So like I definitely felt like with the new regulations coming in, and there's so many probably new people just like me after the F1 movie trying to get into it. It's a good time just to like talk about it together. Cause like I know when I caught that bug, I was just like, what can I listen to? Where can I go? Like even when I was here in Vancouver, Canada, like I was like, hey, like where can I go watch the race? Like there's nowhere to go. There's no, you know what I mean? Like I just want to I want a sense of community here and I feel like being a Canadian podcast, having a Canadian Grand Prix, we can create a sense of community with Garrett and I, and that's what we're here to do.
100%. You probably could have guessed for Canadian because the logo, the Cooldown Podcast. We got cars, we got frozen, we got ice all over the logo. So we're really trying to represent the Canadian brand and give people a lens that's different than what they're used to seeing in Europe.
Oh, hey, if you're ever confused why, just go to the Canadian Grand Prix Instagram page and look at our track right now. It'll
Yeah,
make a lot of sense why our logo looks like that.
look at the track in January as opposed to August. It's real snowy. There aren't any polar
Yeah.
bears, but it's cold up here for sure. Jumping back into things here after a quick interruption. So we want to jump into the 2026 season. What's coming ahead here? Jogpaul mentioned earlier that it's a new season. It's the 5-year shift of the regulations, and that opens up a whole lot of unknown. They're completely revamping the cars this year. We're going from a really strict ground effect era to something completely different. They're getting rid of DRS and they're putting right back in DRS with a different name. We're excited to see what happens. And so the 2026 season holds a lot of unknowns, but that's where we're going to start it off with. Since you've been doing the big technical dive, why don't you jump into a little bit more about what's coming in 2026 and how you see that going?
Yeah, well, when it comes down to like the technicalities, I'm going to be speaking from a very surface level again. But the biggest thing is going to be the new power units, right? So basically, right now, I believe they are 70% gas powered and 30% battery. So again, that they do have a boost feature, an overtake button, and they have drag reduction system, DRS. So what's going to happen this year is they're going to be going actually 50% gas and 50% battery powered. And actually, there was a really funny video going around. I think I sent it to you. I fell for it. That Audi that was flying by at the one of their, I guess, their promo events. That was AI, from what I found out.
Was
So
it? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
yeah. So there was this video because now everyone is wanting to hear what the engines are going to sound like, and it literally flew by this Audi, and it sounded like a TIE fighter from like Star Wars. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds crazy, like an alien. And it was AI, so it was not real. But that's why everyone is kind of anticipating a big battery influenced kind of sound. But Honda did release the sound of their engine. I believe Mercedes did as well, and it sounds pretty good. Gotta say, Honda sounds a lot better than Mercedes, but we'll get into that in a little bit. There
At least
is,
a lot of excitement because this first year, especially with the new regulations, as is with every change of regulation, year one is going to be who made it and who didn't. There's
yeah,
going to be a few teams who come out with the best engine, the best internal combustion side, and the best power unit, or a mix of the two. And we often see a huge spread of the field when one team gets it right, and we see someone shockingly low down in the running when they get it wrong. So it leaves us with a lot of excitement, a lot of anticipation, and by the end of today's episode, some wild predictions without a whole lot of knowledge that we're going to set the stage. And we'll come back at the end
yeah.
of the year and see how close we came from sight unseen to following the season all the way through.
Garrett, isn't that like the best though? Is like when you don't know what's gonna happen, and we're like, you know what? Let's just like blindfold. Let's throw darts at the wall. Let's see who it smokes. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go for it. So let's see what happens. You know?
100%. So we're going into this year heavily biased on who we both cheer for. The cars are completely different. There's going to be drag reduction systems at the front and the back of the car. There's going to be completely different setups on the engine, and the cars are even going to ride different because they don't have the same aerodynamics that force them in the last iteration to compress to the floor.
Yeah,
I think
which is
we're going to
something
see
that. Sorry, go ahead.
I think we're going to see a lot of disparity and a lot of difference between these 2026 cars as they shrink the car, as they compress it on both sides, and they try to bring us back to a little bit racier of a year so the cars can get close, follow each other, and hopefully give us a little bit more excitement than
Oh,
the processional races from 2022 to 2025.
and you know what? Like another a key feature of the change was like there's no more MGU H unit, which is actually gathering heat from the car to reproduce more energy. And then you nailed it. The Aero, I think it's called a new Aero. protocol, which is basically the front wing actually moves along with a back wing. But from my understanding, you can use that whenever. And you can use so the battery, 50% battery is going to be used for manual override. So basically manual overtake. And what that means is you can also use your battery boost to overtake at any time on the track. So no more DRS zones, no more DRS trains. Smaller cars, more nimble cars, more overtaking, more drama. I think we're in for a pretty exciting season.
I think we're in for a pretty exciting season, and it puts a lot of onus on the drivers too, right? Like it used the last season or last couple of seasons, it's really been, show up to the DRS zone. If you're there close enough, you can make a pass. But when you give drivers the chance to, mess with their aero configuration or add boost at unconventional areas and unpredictable areas, it puts it a lot more in the driver's hands. So I think we're going to see a lot more about driver skill in this era, and it'll be really exciting to see who comes through, who the big favorites are, who are the outliers, and who flops.
Yeah, and you know what? There's so much technicality that's going to go behind it with energy usage, you know? So a lot of I don't know if you know, but like a lot of people might be driving in certain gears or might have to brake sooner or later to kind of store some energy or deploy energy. And like I think it's going to be starting to become a big energy usage, kind of like a chess match. You know what I mean? Like when you use energy, when you store energy, how you regain energy, like it's all gonna be. I'm just curious to see how we're gonna, people watching are gonna be able to see that, see the strategy behind it, and kind of see how they're kind of using their energy and how they're saving it or regaining it, to be quite honest with you. But it's going to be a lot of technicalities in that standpoint. So who do you think is going to be good at like, adapting to these changes right off the bat?
Well, I think when you look at the previous seasons and this season, it's almost like watching chess versus checkers. Like the last couple seasons, there's a DRS zone, here's a straight. That's where we expect it to go down. I think this year it's going to be, a big strategy game because you can deploy, or you can change the arrow wherever, plus or minus the boost button. And I think we're really going to see the teams that show the best technical ability and the best strategic ability come to the top. And we know from years past that's Mercedes, that's Red Bull. I don't know about those papaya rules. We'll see how they do, whether or not they decide to bin it or rise to the top. I think someone like Williams with James Vowell at the helm probably are bringing a lot of strategy that will be exciting. I think that people are able to capitalize on that and really focus on the strategy behind it. They're going to be the ones rising to the top, while the people who are incredibly fast might still drop further down the order than we anticipate if they're not able
Yeah.
to control things and make the best out of their cars.
I completely agree with you. I think all of those teams that you mentioned were like spot on. But we do have to talk about the big advantage is going to be the engine itself, right? And we got Red Bull and Mercedes coming out with a loophole that they're exploiting. So, yeah, what do you think about that? Like, it's crazy that right off the bat, new regulations, and they're the ones that figured it out. How do you feel
Yeah.
about wipe the big smile off your face. We get it. You're happy about it. Well, we'll see what happens at the testing. But what do you
Well,
think?
we know that F1's all about innovation, right? We know F1's all about pushing the boundaries. We know that, the team that shows up with the barely legal, questionably legal car is going to have an advantage. And Red Bull and Mercedes showed up, or at least are rumored to be showing up with an engine that's going to put out a lot more horsepower than everyone else on the grid. Now, they're going to have that loophole if it exists for about a year, unless something changes between now and then. But we'll see. We know that Mercedes supplies a whole lot of different cars on the grid. We know there's some new cars on the grid, including Audi, Cadillac, and Audi's bringing their own engines. So we really don't know what to expect until we see the cars hit the track for testing. But it's exciting. These two engines could be rocket ships. They could also be cannonballs. These things could go out, drive 2 laps, and blow up. We really don't know until we see it happen, but we know that they're trying to push the envelope. They're trying to push the engines past, what they're intended to by having metals that morph under pressure to give them a higher horsepower output. That could be success. That could be catastrophe. It could be a great year for Red Bull and Mercedes engines. Could be, Aston Martin's year. We don't know until those cars hit the track and either succeed or cannonball along the way.
You know what I haven't heard, and we know as fact right now, is Ferrari have not found that loophole, and they are complaining to the FIA about this loophole that got exposed. So, um, what do you think about that? Do you think, Garrett, honestly, do you think this is something that should be kind of, hey, they figured it out, it's a loophole, cool. And for those of you who don't know, there was a loophole with the I guess a compression ratio where they interpreted the rules, the FIA rules were at a kind of I guess a cold engine state, the compression shows 16 to 1, which obviously produces less power. And actually, during, I guess, the rest of engine heating up, and it actually expands. And the expansion causes an 18 to 1 compression ratio, which produces, I think they were saying like 300th or half a second per lap.
Wow.
Yeah, which is insane because it's 15 horsepower increase. So don't quote me on the actual lap time increase that'll be, but it is around 15 horsepower, which is a huge, a huge advantage for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, F1's a game of innovation, right? And almost every time there's a big rule change, there's one team or two teams that decide to creatively interpret the rules. And if the FIA sets out a rule that says testing's done when an engine's cold, then a team can do what it will when the engine's hot. And as long as you
yeah,
don't change the engine from what they call parc ferme to the race, the point in time where you can't touch the car to a race, and as long as the same parts are there, whatever happens happens. And until the FIA change how they're going to police that and test with a hot engine or test the difference, they're compliant as far as the letter of the law is. And so we'll see. I mean, every time there's a rule change, a team finds something no one else does. Back in the days when Mercedes had their, I believe it's called the DAS system that allowed them to change steering angles I think was it Force India that showed up with the basically Mercedes clone. Like, people find ways to skirt the rules, and that's really the
yeah.
innovation of F1. It's why it's more interesting than some of the other sports, because it's a game of progression, and if you start with a phenomenal car and you progress it well, you're going to be at the top of the field. And if you
Yeah.
start with a tractor and you can't progress it, you're going to be at the bottom of the field. And we'll see where it goes, because that
Yeah.
rocket ship's got to be reliable, and we don't know what's going to happen until these cars hit the
That's the thing. I think you kind of nailed a solid point there, Garrett. Is it gonna be reliable? Because they can only use a certain amount of engines
They
uh,
get 4 a year, and
for a
Ferrari's
year.
banking on Old Faithful. I think, as far as I understand, they're running an engine that they think is going to be tougher and more reliable with beefier components. And Red Bull and Mercedes are going glass cannon. So we might see them 6 races ahead in the points, but they might start taking penalties later on in the season if their engines start to cannonball. So
Yeah, but what is it? This speaks volumes to companies like, I'm not gonna say Cadillac, but like I would say Ferrari and Honda, who have been in the game for a very long time. Like, what is their team doing that, like, like Red Bull and Red Bull and Mercedes like did, what are they not doing? You know what I mean? Like, how are they being more innovative and finding these loopholes? You know what I mean? Like, these teams aren't new to this, especially a team like Ferrari, like especially a year like last year, you'd think that, they put all their eggs into the 26 basket, right?
yeah, I mean, again, you go to a rule book and everyone reads it differently, right? Like, one person's going, "Hey, I think this means that we can run beefier components," and someone else goes, "What if we change the game? What if we come with something no one else will?" And we don't know what it's going to look like. It's exciting though. It's exciting. That
Yeah, but
first race is going to be a fucking gong show, and I can't wait for it.
what's something that I've noticed is that a team like Ferrari and also Honda, I feel like they have like a really strong sense of pride with their engines and like their product, where they're like, they're like, we're good, we have this, we know what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, where like the innovation dies when like there's a slight bit of ego and pride associated with, I got this. Like, we've been doing this for a long time. You know what I mean? Like, do you sense that with those teams?
Yeah, like, think back to, I mean, we go to a movie like Rush, the old
Oh
school
yeah,
F1
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
where oh shit, where Nicky Lauda's goes to Ferrari and they say, "What do you think of the Ferrari?" He goes, "It's a
Shit
shitbox."
box,
And
yeah.
they go, "You can't call it a shitbox. It's a Ferrari." It goes, "It's slow. It oversteers and understeers every corner."
Yeah.
It,
That's
it comes
spot
down to
on,
that,
man.
right? Like those teams are. We are Ferrari. We
Yeah.
are the best. We are like the team that quite literally gets money just for existing from the start. Versus an energy drink company who comes in with a chip on their shoulder, buys a team for $1 and makes it $1 billion company and has
Yeah.
a big chip on their shoulder and throws up both middle fingers and says, we're here, we're going to be big and bad and mean, and we're going to do it better than everybody else. So, there's
Yeah.
one team running through with a chip on their shoulder, and there's one team settling in the fact that they're legacy. And, we might see that in some of the innovation that comes with it.
So fun question for you is, do you know the top three teams that have won, I think, constructors, I believe the question was?
No,
Engine suppliers. Who would you think? The top three engine suppliers that have won constructors.
Mercedes, Honda, and Mercedes, Honda, and I'm not sure who's going to be the third.
So most people would say Ferrari as a third. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like Ferrari, it's Mercedes, I believe, Ferrari, and Ford. Ford is the third, I believe. So just
and
going back,
Ford's coming back as Red Bull sponsor this year, even though it's Red Bull powertrains. They're going side by side with Ford, and
yeah, which is something
exciting.
I found extremely fascinating. Like obviously you and I are very new, but in the past, Ford has had a strong history in F1, strong influence, and a lot of success. A lot of success. So it's cool to see that innovation that they're bringing back. And honestly, like I'm excited to see what Red Bull and Ford have produced because I know Red Bull does want a lot more, I guess, say and control over the engine, and they're willing to work with Red Bull a lot more. So it's cool to see that happening.
Yeah, moving away from Honda this year. We'll see. Maybe they're going to make a rocket ship Ford. We don't know.
Yeah,
Um, so there's some big things coming up this month. We're in January right now, and that means the start of the process for unveiling these cars. We know Red Bull and the Racing Bulls are up first. We wonder, are they going to show up with the 2025 car with the same livery? Are they going to drop a 2026 car? Are they going to change it from this logo to this logo with a white border around it? What's going to change? The joke
yeah.
is that it's going to be a copy and paste the same thing for the next 10 years. But there's rumors. There's rumors that they might be dropping the real thing.
Their real car.
There's rumors.
Oh man, like
They're 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 probably unsubstantiated rumors, but there's rumors, and we can hope.
yeah. What do you think about their so explain to me, have you seen the car drops and the presentations before?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, so
basically it's their opportunity to hype up the next season to come to the table with something brand new and to really have some shock and awe while having a dinner for their sponsors. And
okay.
uh, from 2021 to 2025, Red Bull's shown up with the exact same car, with the exact same livery,
No
with
way.
maybe a dot of white on the bottom corner and say it's completely different. And so they've caught a lot of flack for the last 5 years of Control C, Control V, but there's an opportunity for them. New year, new regulations
Well,
to put something cool on paper, and I'm
don't they
excited.
have to? Because technically, I think there's a new change in the regulations where a certain amount of the cars does have to be covered by paint and sponsor stickers.
Yep.
So I think
Their
they
their
might
logos
have
have
to.
always their logos have always covered most of the car. They haven't run like a black car with a Red Bull word on the side.
Yeah, yeah,
But the big question will be because what a lot of manufacturers do in the new regulation is they'll take the FIA's demo car and they'll just put it up and they'll slap a logo down the side,
yeah.
and then they'll make you wait. And so
Okay.
you're looking at it and going, "Oh man, it's new. Oh, it's the FIA's car just with a Red Bull on the side of it."
What a tease.
Right? You get all excited, and then it's a big tease. But other teams, they dropped the real thing. I think it was 2021. A lot of teams dropped a very similar car, and then Ferrari and Mercedes dropped something completely different. And so,
So this
new regulations, new opportunities. We're not really sure who's going to drop what, but could be a tease. Could be
this
incredibly exciting. We wait to
this
see.
yeah, this is starting to feel like a game of poker. Like which team is confident, which team is bluffing, which team is like, showing all their cards. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it just feels like how they're gonna present this is gonna show us a lot. Like if they don't bring in the car, are they ready? Are they having issues? Like, or do they not want to show the people what the car is? Do they not want to reveal it? Like, are they being super secretive about they might be, ahead, because what can you see on a car when they're doing the presentation? Probably just the aero, probably just the aerodynamics. You can't really see much more than that, can you?
You can see the Aero. The big thing though is, if someone's put a little leaflet somewhere, if someone's put, a little way to trap the air against the body of the car, something that no one else thought about. If they're
Mhm.
dropping that a month
Early.
before the test, that gives other teams a chance. It gives them a
Yeah.
sliver of hope to try to do something themselves. And you look
It's
back to
evident.
2022, Mercedes comes in with a zero pod concept. Like everyone else has these big ass side pods that are meant to cut all the air around it. Mercedes shows up with nothing. And
Hmm.
you're sitting there going, oh shit, did they get it or did they miss? Like, is this thing going to
Yeah.
be a rocket ship or is it going to spin off the track?
Yeah.
Every other car, again, big undercuts, tight to the body. You get Ferrari, big bumpers out the side. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. There's three designs. 80% of the grid went with design one. There's design two and design three. Did everyone miss? Did everyone hit? We're not going to know. But, if you drop that full car on day one, it gives other teams time to catch up.
Damn.
With
So,
Red Bull batting early in the order, I wouldn't be shocked if they put a car that had some weird shit on it just to throw people off the case.
oh, for sure. Damn. I didn't even think about that. These
Yeah.
are some mind games really early on into the season. Shit.
Yeah, man. The car drops get interesting because
Oh,
this
man.
is someone's initial interpretation of the rules, right? Like you can basically, I'm assuming there's some amount of truth and reality to what they have to show up with.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
show up with a pretty blank car and start adding parts to it or different engine covers or different ways to funnel the air, and you show up with them on track day and blow everyone's mind,
Yeah.
that's
But
what we're looking at for the next 4 to 6 weeks here.
and what's the gap between Bahrain and the first race? Like
That's a great question.
I
I
think
want
that's
to
like
say it's not a lot of time as far as F1's concerned. It's like a couple weeks.
is it? Okay. Yeah, we gotta look into that because I feel like that would because I mean, testing is gonna pretty much bring everything to the table, and there are some rumors that like teams are not gonna participate in testing, but that's not allowed, is it? You have to participate in testing.
Pretty sure you have to participate in testing, but uh, you can still make changes to your car thereafter. Let's look that up. When Bahrain test versus first
So
race.
it's February 11th to the 13th, and 18th to the 20th. And I believe the cars are dropping till the end of January. So you're right. It's around 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is probably not enough because they probably got to get everything out there, set up there. I mean, like it's a huge project getting the cars even out there and set up for testing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. This stuff, they're not Amazon Prime. They're not shipping parts around the world overnight. They're putting
yeah,
stuff on boats and sending it out to different tracks ahead of time. So,
they're DHL
upgrades
Prime.
aren't, yeah, upgrades aren't built in the day. Cars don't just show up. These are millions and millions of dollars worth of R&D and shipping that go into all this stuff. But
Yeah.
it leads to some excitement. And, the biggest thing that we can do ahead of all of that dropping is to make some completely unsubstantiated predictions without even seeing the cars. So I'm going to throw it your way first. We're going to make some early predictions about who we think's going to, be the biggest uh, be the biggest upset of the year. We're going to look to see who we think is going to be the star, who's going to flop, and then some early predictions for who we think is going to win it as a team and which driver is going to reign supreme.
Okay, so what should we start off with? Should we start off with like WDC, like top three? Who do we think?
Let's go World Drivers Championship first. You throw your predictions down, I'll throw mine down.
Okay, so world drivers. It's a good one. I didn't even think that far ahead. I want to say I want my heart says Fernando. My heart says Fernando Alonso. Um, but right off the bat, like the first name that keeps popping up in my head is George Russell. Like Mercedes, George Russell, like I think it's gonna be between him and Max again, like the engines coming up. And like it's hard to say um anyone but Max right now, but I just want to stir the pot right now because it's pre-predictions. We haven't
So
seen anything.
so you've got Nando from Max and George.
Yes, so I got no, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna say George, Max, and for the love of Fernando, I'm gonna say Honda pull through with a fucking rocket for him. So
We can hope for the oldest rookie on the grid.
yeah, 100%.
All right, I'm going Max because I have to, and I think he's got it, especially with the new regulations. From Oscar Piastri in second, from George Russell in third. I think Lando's coming in fifth or sixth. I don't think he's got it to defend his title.
You know what? Everyone's been kind of like on the same vibe.
Hey man, his dad said you never remember the person who came second, and he won the driver of the year. So
Yeah.
we also know that, a mighty big statistic year to year about who's going to win the drivers championship is who wins Abu Dhabi in the final race of the year. Well, Max took that race by a fucking landslide. So
Yeah, for
my
sure.
prediction is he takes that the next year by a landslide as well. It's going to be 2022 all over again. I'm gonna
Go
throw
for it.
the unsubstantiated prediction that he's going 20 for 23 this year.
So you said sorry, Max, Oscar,
And George,
and George. Yeah. Something about I don't know, man. Something about George. Like I feel like he's just been building
got a
up.
chip on his shoulder.
For sure. Like
Enough
for
people have
sure,
turned in on him at this point that he's ready to get a win out of it.
bro. Like he's the one guy who does not give a shit about Max. Like, and I respect that about him. You know what I mean? Like,
He'll throw down with Max. Oscar will drive it around the side of Max. Like they're the two dudes throwing down. So I think
yeah,
they're the two that aren't going to get rattled by it. And hopefully there's a few less papaya rules to get in Oscar's way this year.
yeah. I agree. And what do you think about the constructors?
We've got Isaac Hadjar and Max Verstappen in a Red Bull, but I think Mercedes is taking it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's either Mercedes or McLaren. I don't know which yet. It'll depend on whether Mercedes gives McLaren the right engine or if they tune down the compression ratio a little bit. You got two drivers with a little bit more experience in the McLaren. You've got a clear number one, number two at Mercedes. You got a clear number one, number two at Red Bull. Isaac's either going to have a stonking season or it's going to be a build year for him. But I can't say I'm gonna bet on him yet. I'm thinking McLaren or Mercedes is going to pull through.
I think I could say confidently he's going to do slight bit better than Yuki.
We can hope.
But
For
do
the
you?
love of my sanity,
Yeah,
I would love to cheer for Red Bull Racing, not Max Verstappen Racing this
yeah,
year.
100%. I completely agree with you. But is that something that engine manufacturers can do? Is like change the actual engine setup for other teams?
I have absolutely no clue.
I'm just like, bro, like, I'm like, they found a big loophole. And like, I think as someone purchasing the engine, I'd be like, hey, man, like, I heard you
It
guys
seems
came
to have
up
a
with
couple
stuff.
less horsepower than
Yeah. Like,
the stats that we bought.
we did a compression test. It doesn't look so positive compared
It
to,
looks like
what you guys
15
might
to
have.
1. How does yours do 18 to 1?
How is it even worse than the other cars, So,
Yeah. I don't think
yeah,
you can, but one can hope that there's a way that they can bend the metal to only work under their configuration. Who
I
knows?
mean, if anything says anything about engines and their customer engines is McLaren. So they beat Mercedes with a Mercedes engine, and that says a lot. So we'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we talked about who we think is going to win the drivers, the worlds, who do we think is going to surprise us this year, and then last and unfortunately least, who do we think is going to disappoint the hell out of us this year?
Yeah, like honestly, like biggest surprise, obviously Aston Martin. Like I'm not gonna put that down because that's not even a surprise. They're gonna do well. But um I want to say Williams. I say
I've got Carlos and Williams.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I'm
they're
gonna say
pulling P. I think they're pulling P3, P4 in the championships. They're up there for the constructors.
I might even say they're gonna beat Ferrari. Like,
That's what I mean. P3,
yeah,
P4.
yeah, yeah. And I think Signs might sneak in just a win maybe, like he might just sneak one in, like I
Couple
think
smooth operations.
yeah, bro, he he says that sometimes. I'm like, bro, like you gotta let that go, man.
He's a smooth operator, baby.
Oh
That's what
my
we got.
God. He really is a smooth operator, and like honestly, like I'm very, 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 very happy for him. He's doing good, man. He's doing good.
Who do you think's flopping?
Well, I'm gonna say the complete polar opposite of Carlos Sainz, which is Lewis Hamilton. Oh my God. It's funny how those two kind of fit right in there.
Yeah, you think it's going to be another flop for Lewis. Man, there is this stat. It's he's switched teams 3 times in the last, whatever, 10 or 20 years, and he switched teams. First season's gone poorly. Second season, he's won the World Drivers' Championship. Now, I don't think it's happening this year. I
Yeah.
don't. But, so far it's happened twice. Third time's the charm. We'll see. Who do I think's flopping this year? I think we're going to see the biggest discrepancy between teammates, and I'm throwing this out here purely because I got to root for the other part of the 2021 team. I think we're seeing the biggest disparity between teammates in Checo and Bottas.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
throwing it out there again, unsubstantiated. I love Valtteri; he's
Yeah.
so funny, but I'm for in it for a deep down part of me that's hoping for Checo after Red Bull did him dirty. I'm thinking Checo drives the brakes off that Cadillac and makes a fucking name for himself this season.
Dude, Checo has so much to prove. Like he is a god in Mexico. Like he is like super popular. He is so rich. He's so like established. Like I feel like he has like the pressure of his entire nation like behind him, like where he has exactly this point that you just said to prove. And it's a lot. And I think he's
Yeah,
coming in, yeah, like you said, like guns blazing based off of his interview that he did,
yeah.
like
I mean,
um
he was dirtied by Red Bull a little bit. He was made to play second fiddle. He did it beautifully in 2021. He brought that World Drivers' Championship home for Max. But it's hard to play in a team where you're clearly the number two and where everything goes to the number one guy. So now that he's in a team where there is no clear number one, number two yet at this point, there's going to be two dudes throwing down for the chance to keep their career going in F1. And I think it's going to be a bit guns a-blazing, especially with
yeah,
Cadillac. They're here as the new American team. They're looking to make a name for themselves, and they're going to have the heart of Mexico behind Checo Perez.
for sure. Too bad they got a Ferrari engine.
I didn't say they were going to be the front and the back, but maybe
Yeah.
sixth and 12th or something. But we'll see.
Well, good news is they're going to be coming in with an engine soon. So I think Cadillac is working on their engine. I think they're giving themselves
So,
2 to 3 years to come up with it. So
yeah.
that's good. But yeah, let's see how Checo does. I'm excited to have him back. And I think he's a very, very talented person to be on the grid. And he's going to not cause, but he's going to be a source of a lot of entertainment for us.
I think so. So what's the next little bit going to look like as we get towards the season? We got a bunch of cars dropping here over the next month. We're going to be able to, we're going to do these episodes weekly. We're going to give ourselves a chance to review what's dropping, what the rumor mill's saying, what these cars look like, and who we think's, duping the field early on versus who we think's dropping the real thing. Next couple weeks, we're going to be covering the cars as they drop. We've got Red Bull and Racing Bulls up. We've got what's coming after that. We've got a couple other big suppliers, and then there'll be another break, another week where you guys have to wait before you get to hear how excited we are for the other cars to drop.
Yeah, we got Haas, Cadillac, Red Bull coming up. And honestly, I can't really think what's happening after that. But those are the three that we have to talk about from this week. I think they're dropping tomorrow. Red Bull is dropping tomorrow, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what that's all about. Where do you watch that?
Each team has like a live stream.
Oh, just like on Instagram?
I don't know if it's on Instagram, but if you look up like Red Bull car launch, there'll be a live stream link to it. and people can tune in there. And then you'll catch it on Instagram about 10 minutes after it drops with 1,000 posts about it, with everyone who's as aerodynamically inept as us saying, look at that weird fin, that's clearly going to do this. And you'll still have no idea what the fuck any of it means. And then the cars will hit the track and we'll really see. But the first couple of weeks are really about seeing who's showing up with something completely different than everyone else, whose car looks pretty as hell, and who brought a car that looks like it was drawn by a 6-year-old with crayons.
We should show them the picture of the car you drew.
Yeah, exactly. You can post that up here, show people how good my art is,
Yeah.
and why I am a doctor, not a aerodynamic analyzer, not an engineer, and I'm not building these cars myself because it certainly didn't look aerodynamic, certainly didn't look fast, barely even looked like a car.
Hey, you drew it, you signed it. This podcast is gonna pop off, and that's gonna be worth a lot of money one day.
One day, and until one day, we'll leave these guys with the first episode of the Cooldown Lap Podcast with your host Garrett, Joggy. And we're just excited to see you guys next week and to keep covering this season as it all unfolds. New year,
Yeah.
new rep opportunities, hell of a lot of excitement to follow along the way.
Be sure to like, subscribe on YouTube. We're gonna be on Spotify, Apple Music. Let us know how we did, and we'll get you more content. So yeah, we'll see you next week.